Have you ever glanced at the ingredients on a can of soda or a bag of candy and seen gum arabic? I bet you have. But what if I told you that this super common food additive might hold a surprising secret, one that has to do with kidney health? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
So this is the big question, right? Could an ingredient used to make our food better actually have a profound effect on one of our most vital organs? It sounds a little out there, but a group of scientists decided it was a question worth asking.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with how this whole idea even came about, then we'll cover what gum arabic actually is, we'll walk through the experiment, see what the heck they found in the mice, figure out why it all matters, and then wrap up with the big takeaway.
All right, first up, let's explore the backstory. This is a classic case of modern science looking at an old tradition and saying, is there something to this?
And here's the twist that got researchers so interested. In most of the world, gum arabic is just an industrial ingredient. But in parts of the Middle East, it's been used for a long time as a folk remedy for chronic kidney disease. That is a pretty wild difference, and scientists, they wanted to see if there was any real evidence to back up the tradition. So, before we jump into the experiment, let's get formally introduced to our main character here. What exactly is this stuff?
Well, it's 100% natural. Gum arabic is a type of dietary fiber that comes from the hardened sap of the acacia tree. It's been harvested for centuries, mostly in Africa and the Middle East. And I guarantee you've had it, probably without even knowing. It's the magic ingredient that keeps your soda from separating. It gives gummy candies and marshmallows that perfect texture. You'll find it in all sorts of processed foods and even medicines. It's kind of the invisible workhorse of the food industry.
So, with this long history as a folk remedy in mind, the researchers set up a really clean, simple experiment to see if gum arabic actually did anything measurable to the kidneys.
The plan was pretty elegant. They got a group of healthy mice, and for 2 straight weeks, they just added a 10% solution of gum arabic to their drinking water. And during that whole time, they meticulously collected and analyzed everything that came out of the mice to track every little change. And what they found was pretty amazing, actually. It turns out the gum arabic didn't just pass right through. Nope, it set off a whole cascade of really significant, measurable changes in the mice's bodies. Out of all the numbers and all the data they crunched, one result just jumped off the page. The mice's kidneys literally started working better, more efficiently. And we're not talking about a tiny bump. They measured something called creatinine clearance. Think of it as a grade for how well the kidneys are cleaning your blood. Well, that grade went up by a whopping 35%. That is a huge jump in performance. But that wasn't even the whole story. They saw a bunch of other changes too. The mice started getting rid of way more calcium and magnesium. Their total urine output actually went down, and so did the amount of sodium in their urine, which is really interesting because we all know high sodium can be tough on the kidneys. Oh, and because it's a fiber, their fecal weight went up, just as you'd expect. Okay, so a 35% increase in some science-y measurement sounds cool, but what does it actually mean for our health? Let's connect these dots to what happens in the real world. So like we said, creatinine clearance is all about filtration. The easiest way to think about it is like your kidney's personal trash removal service. It measures how fast and how well they're getting waste products out of your blood. So it's simple. A higher number is always better. It means your kidneys are doing a fantastic job. And this is the real kicker. When kidneys are struggling, when they're under strain, you see 2 main things. Their filtration efficiency goes down, and their ability to balance electrolytes gets all messed up. But what the researchers saw with gum arabic was the exact opposite. Filtration efficiency went up, and electrolyte excretion changed in ways that could actually be beneficial. So let's wrap all this up. What's the final message here? Where do we go from this really fascinating little study?
This is straight from the horse's mouth, the scientists' own conclusion. They wrote that gum arabic led to moderate but significant effects that would be considered favorable for kidney problems. Basically, they found a potential scientific reason that the folk remedy might actually work.
Now, and this is the most important disclaimer. We have to remember who the subjects were. Healthy mice. This wasn't a study on humans, and especially not on humans who already have kidney disease. It's a proof of concept. It's a clue. It is absolutely not a reason for people to start treating themselves. The leap from a healthy mouse to a sick person is just enormous. And that really leads us to the final question. This study cracks open a door, right? It suggests there's something here that's genuinely worth a closer look. The obvious next step would be very carefully designed clinical trials in humans. It's just wild to think that a simple food additive could one day lead to a new therapy. But for now, it's a very compelling scientific puzzle.